Hey guys, this is Mitch, and I draw Blood Force, and usually in my own style, but sometimes in somebody else's. So this was an idea that was suggested, which was to do some Blood Force characters, but in the style of some of the image founding artists. So in this case, this is Hawkstab in the style of Whilce Portacio, and took me a little while to decide on this particular image. I'm not sure why. It's very obviously the correct image. This is an interesting exercise. I'm not used to copying anymore. I didn't do it for very long when I was a kid, and I don't know how to do that anymore now. I'm reasonably good at drawing in my own style. Anybody else's? Thank you. So I wasn't sure exactly how to proceed here, and hopefully we're done with the focusing in and out. It doesn't seem like quite. But no, this camera has problems with when there's no solid blacks on the screen. So as there's more detail, it should focus more. So yeah, this was so first of all, we're going to try and get the proportions right. And I feel like I've got a reasonable grasp on them here. It's a little tough though. Like this would have been easier if I'd light boxed, but I don't have one of those, so that wasn't going to happen, obviously. And also I need blown up versions of these. And there's going to be some elements here that are, there's a lot of elements here that are obviously straight from the image, but there's going to have to be a few that I have to put in, like all these pouches and everything, and try to kind of approximate a Whilce style a little bit on those. So yeah, at first I tried to get pretty heavy with the pencils and try and at least make out the shapes here. There we go. Let's go more with the pencils. You never see me do this kind of thing. And get to try and figure out where the blades work in there. Sure. And this is tough because the more I start penciling this, the more I realize that a lot of this is done in the ink. I would say, where it's just like a slab of ink laid down with like one swipe of a brush. And it's like, I'm not sure, this feels almost kind of counterproductive, doing this with a pencil. It seems unnecessary. But, like I said, I want to at least get the basic shapes down so that I can work within a framework. And sometimes I feel like this head might be too big, but I'm not even sure. There's some points where I'm like, this is okay. Yeah, and this part here, because obviously here, Cyclops' visor covers up his eyes. It's like, shit, I got to come up with some Whilce eyes, and you can find some later in the book if you look. So yeah, it's an interesting exercise actually trying to do the style, not just the proportions. Because you see how he lays down ink, or how he just does his pencils or whatever. And it's yeah, see, I'm done. I'm done trying to approximate it. Just get into the ink. There's no point wasting time. And realizing that, okay, so Whilce likes to do, either Whilce or the inker Art T-Bear. That's the thing, I can't quite tell. I think it's Whilce. Likes to do these short strokes for outlines. And he's actually pretty rough on the hatching. I think, again, this could be T-Bear. But it's not precise. I was doing some Dale Keown later. That's pretty precise. This is almost like dashed off. And I'm trying to figure out how best to do this. Should I do this with my fine brush pen? Should I do this with a thick brush pen? I eventually decided shit, should have been the fine one. But oh well. But yeah, see these very short strokes that don't always meet. And a lot of black in the undersides of things. Although that is largely a function, honestly, I didn't pick up on it when I was doing it, of the costume, because on Hawkstab that should be a bare arm up to the gauntlet there, I would think. So really that should have been rendered less. but maybe I'll remember next time. And again, it's a little bit just focusing in on exactly what he's drawing and not why he's drawing it. And that's an interesting thing, is as I was doing this, again, I haven't tried copying somebody else's work since I learned how to draw, I would say. So now that I know how to draw, and I'm trying to do these lines, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm starting to like figure out why he's putting these lines here in a lot of cases. It's not something I can reproduce any kind of regularly, and I mean, like, I'm not getting it exactly right here anyway, but it's still interesting to like get into the mindset for a second. And hopefully I can carry some of it over. And yeah, so with the comics I've been going through on, yeah, see, more black. And then you can hatch stuff away later. It's fine. It's all good. I was starting to figure it out here. Okay, this is why this is dark. Because Cyclops has alternating light and dark areas on his costume in this place. It's like, okay, so no, this should all be... So really, this part should have been dark as well. I didn't quite catch that. And you see this gets kind of a little bit random looking. And more trying to copy it directly. And pick it up a bit more on the other side here. Again, this is more of an exercise, so that's okay. I can always go back and fix this too. I can't fix that arm really, without whiting out a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, what I was saying, with the comics I've been going through in the revisits, it's interesting because I was going through some of the last Jim Lee Uncannies. Well, you know, not some of them, just the last Jim Lee Uncannies. And I had it pointed out that a lot of it is probably done by Homage Studios, which is Jim Lee, Whilce Portacio, and Scott Williams. And a lot of the layouts that I was crediting Jim for being very creative about, and just like, why did you give up on that? It was, you know, pointed out that actually was probably Whilce Portacio. And you know what, looking at it, it's like, shit, you know what, I think he's right. Because, like, I don't know, drawing, going over Whilce's lines here, and I'm going through a revisit for X Factor now, and just seeing what his layouts look like. Yeah, no, he seems to be like the creative powerhouse behind Wildstorm or Homage or Ace, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't even know. Task Force X, I think they were in one of them. Yeah, and try and get these blades in here. It's like, it doesn't really, you know, you can't keep them on the page the way you set this up. Like, I could have actually done a smaller drawing. That would have worked. Didn't do that, though. Because I don't think I was necessarily thinking about the blades when I was doing this. I'm just like, okay, I need to make this thing as big as possible. And again, trying to approximate the strokes here. And I'm going to have to work in, yeah, the bands of the gauntlets. And make it a little bit more highly rendered. And try to be careful here. Because if this gets out of proportion, then the whole thing's kind of fucked. And it's like, what the hell is going on inside Cyclops' mouth? I don't know. That's the shape in there for some reason. Yeah, there's the eyes. Decided on smaller eyes in this case. He does sometimes go big with small pupils, which I think is a manga influence. again, trying to do this thing here, this little badge thing, in a way that Whilce maybe would do. I don't think that's 100% accurate, but it's not how I would do it. That's a plus. And giving him full-on Cyclops hair here. So yeah, that's maybe one thing you don't want to copy from a Portacio character, is the hair. Everything else, I would say. And these huge slabs of, I guess, muscle on the thighs that he puts here. And it feels like there's some sort of pattern to it. Like this is something he's trying to do every time, maybe. But like, it's like those muscles don't exist, Not in that array. And yeah, trying to spot my blacks here. Okay, where the fuck does everything go? If I can get the blacks pretty close, I should be able to fill in the hatching around it reasonably. And yeah, this is, if you ever notice that there aren't very many Portacio clones, while there are Jim Lee clones, like out the wazoo, and there's attempts at Mark Silvestri, and this kind of, yeah, I think it's because Whilce's style is so fucking hard. It's very much done by feel, I think. I don't know how much structure is in there. There might be a ton. But it feels like he intrinsically understands things like perspective and foreshortening. And the anatomy is completely made up. Outside of the basic, pecs and abs. And then, fuck it, whatever. But the lumps make sense to Whilce. And now, yeah, let's do that. And again, since it's an exercise, let's do an actual brush and see if that gets more of the desired effect. I don't think it really did. But there's going to be a fair bit of black in here. No, more so than was in the finished Whilce version. So I am learning a little bit here. That's good. Trying to get some Whilce hands going. Not too bad, I think. Pretty good approximation. And yeah, there's the bands. Fill it in a little bit more hatching. And that should pretty much do it, I think. Oh, still got blades, of course. My bad. There's always more blades. Do I remember that pocket in the front? At least for the video? I don't think I did. Nope. All right. Did I get it on the actual final? Here's a good question. Okay, so I did finish it in the final. That's good, at least. So yeah, that's my version of Hawkstab as done by Whilce Portacio, circa 1992. I think it's okay. I'm not going to get it right. That's one thing that I'm trying to kind of convince myself. It's like, dude, you know what? If you don't draw like Whilce Portacio, it's okay. You're not Whilce Portacio. It's fine. Just take it as a draw and go, okay. Well, and the interesting part is what I'm learning from this, actually. Just how to make different kinds of lines. And I'm, again, like I said, doing the same thing with the Keown pastiche. So all these videos do have sort of a purpose. Because the revisits, I'm learning stuff about storytelling. And, it's interesting that he chose this panel layout here. And, don't do this because this is the effect that it has. You can see it in real time. And now these things here, it's like, shit, I'm learning new lines to make. That's kind of fucking dope. So yeah, if you want to get better at drawing still, copy. Just try and copy exactly. It's tough, but you know, if you go, okay, how do I make these lines? And then try to make the lines the same, then yeah, you might be able to actually make some progress. I don't know. I feel like I did anyway. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Maybe I'll have the hard one done for for pretty soon here. We'll see. I don't know. But if you enjoy the channel, if you feel like you might want to support me a bit as an artist, or if you just want access to the Blood Force stuff and all of these drawings and stuff, if you open up the description, there's a link there to my Patreon. Subscribe there. That'll give you all of the Blood Force things. That'll give you these videos before they end up on YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. And, you know, one or two other things as well. Also, go over to my Instagram and put in your request for a commission. Get some Blood Force artwork today. I'll do you this if you want. I don't mind. This didn't take too long. And it looks kind of dope, really. Just don't be like, you know, I want fucking Unicron as done by Sam Keith. I'm not going to draw that. I'm sorry. I'd love to see it too, but it's just not going to fucking happen. Unless you're, if you're paying for like the next year of my life for me to do that, maybe. But yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for watching.